Hey guys, thank you for joining me today on Godspot. I want to talk about dealing with difficult people. I've talked about difficult conversations, but often it comes with difficult people. In his Sermon on the Mount, in Luke chapter 5, verse 27 through 31, Jesus is very specific about dealing with difficult people, and he says we need to do this in love and humility. He says, but I tell you who hear me, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. If someone strikes you on one cheek, turn the other also. If someone takes your cloak, do not stop him from taking your tunic. Give to everyone who asks you, and if anyone takes what belongs to you, do not demand it back. Do to others as you would have them do to you. That's a huge expectation that is put on us. But we can manage it going forward. You know, I'm hearing a lot about people returning to work and they're no longer working remotely. And the common complaint is that when people get back into the office or the workforce, what's happening, they've lost their ability to deal with difficult people, or they are difficult to deal with. And so I guess we need to anticipate that every day this is a possibility, that we can interact with difficult people or become difficult ourselves. So I want to give you a few helps, a few tips that will get you along the way, that will help you in dealing with difficult people. Just as Jesus said, we need to be patient, long-suffering, but we need some practical steps too. Number one, we need to de-escalate the situation. So how do we do that? How do we de-escalate a situation that seems to be getting out of control? There doesn't seem to be an end to it. There's a few emotions flying around. Well, I believe it would be really good if you just simply learned to master the strategy of pause. Instead of continually arguing, continuing down a rabbit warren you don't want to go down, just pause. Just pause. Stop talking and allow the conversation to run its course and stop. And you'd be surprised what can be accomplished once things calm down, because we all get triggered. And sometimes we get triggered by what is said and it gets out of control. Number two, always keep your desired outcome in mind. What are you trying to accomplish? You know, when I'm dealing with difficult people, I'm always keeping in mind I'm not out to hurt them. I don't want to hurt them. That's not the goal or the objective. So I stick with the facts. I put the facts on the table. I talk to them about the facts. I don't attack them as a person. I don't, you know, I just don't want to hurt them. And that's my main goal. I just want to diffuse the situation and find a way to resolve it. Number three, when possible, not always, but when possible, rehearse in advance. Difficult people can be particularly adept at throwing us off our game. And by getting an emotional rise out of us, we end up being disadvantaged. And so just like anyone who's a musician or an athlete, practice is important. And understanding how you're going to handle it is important. So give you a moment. I know we're dealing with difficult people. Many times I wait 24 hours, and even when I do, I shut my door on my office and I wait and I measure myself and I begin to understand that, so I can't react. I put things in place. I'm not triggered. I won't react. And this really helps. And so if possible, rehearse. Number four, don't over-personalize everything. The hardest interpersonal interactions are the ones where we take things too personal. And we feel very wounded and insulted by another person's behavior. Many times it's really not about you. There are things happening in their lives that are triggering them. And you need to understand what's going on and try and measure yourself in response. And number five, a little self-awareness and empathy go a long way. You know, as I said earlier, there's difficult people all the time. There's lots of situations going on you don't know, but sometimes we are the ones who are difficult as well. So we need to try and de-escalate, as I said, be self-aware of our own patterns, and make sure, above all, we're not a difficult person. Hope this helps you. And if it does, hit the like button, share it with someone else. Thanks for listening.